Hello, Timothy LeGendre here, CPA in Florida. Just wanted to do a quick video about, whatever else, but QuickBooks. I feel like all my videos are on this, but I'm going to continue to come after Intuit. I don't necessarily have a personal vendetta against them. I just think that they've done they've done a lot of damage to the accounting world and the community. I think that a lot of people are just kind of, they're not awakened to that. They don't really know exactly kind of, what's going on. But for instance, I've had several clients that I brought over from QuickBooks that have left me, raving reviews, and Google has actually taken them down because they call it a conflict of interest if someone talks negatively about QuickBooks on a review on a Google business profile. So it's just, Intuit has just become one of those kind of monster companies, and nothing against them. They're allowed to make money too. If I get a chance to point out something that, I don't really align with, then I will, but I'm not really trying to be a QuickBooks basher in any way. But anyway, I got this email the other day. Since I guess I'm kind of like a QuickBooks accountant or something, I get emails before other people, and they're going to be raising prices. And I was like, okay, yeah, they can raise prices. But as I was looking at some of this, most people end up getting this. They get pushed into buying this Plus. They think they need Plus. And it's like, man, $140 a month. And you're paying that to a company that doesn't really care about you, that doesn't really care about the accounting, the actual bookkeeping part of it. They just keep throwing bells and whistles and stuff on top of it. I mean, here, they start out the email is talking about all the things that they're going to do with, these intelligent onboarding and I'm like, okay. And then like auto categorization, like you should have had that, 20 years ago. So I don't know. Not to go on a super long rant about this, but most people end up in this, $140 range. And, thinking about, hiring someone that's a CPA that's been doing financials for, almost 10 years, 20,000 hours of experience, 2,000 hours a year at least. Minimum, some years working, 50, 60 hour weeks, up at midnight doing spreadsheets and pro formas and learning valuation and learning, all different types of metrics and KPIs and building out, 250 year net present value, projections and all kinds of stuff like that. I know that if you're paying someone $140 a month, based on a commercial or something that you've been advertised that, that anyone could do it and they can just show up and, QuickBooks can solve all your problems. And, like, you're paying $140 before you even mess it up. And that's just kind of being honest. Like, if you're not an accountant, if you don't know the double entries, you don't know the right way to do bookkeeping and how to do accounting and how to, manage your chart of accounts correctly and, which one should be credit balances, which one should be debit balances, then yeah, you're going to mess it up. And you're paying $140 a month before you even do that. Or before you pay someone else $300, $400, $500, $600, whatever, to, go and only do QuickBooks and only know that and not know tax, not know accounting, not know different things with assets, not know, just double entries. So, I've seen a lot of people get paid big money to only do QuickBooks, only do the software, and then they hand me a balance sheet that's got negative accounts and negative credit cards and, assets that are missing. And it's just like, whoa, like you're paying $140 a month now. You're paying some other person, $50,000, $60,000 a year to handle your QuickBooks. And at the end of the day, you don't even have proper financials. You don't even have proper books and records. So, I'm just trying to get that across another way, maybe sometimes too much, but QuickBooks is just not the right way to go. Hire someone that has spent the last 4 or 5 years developing their own software, that is a CPA, that does have that passion for, correct financials, that does love, profit and loss and balance sheet. Sounds weird saying that, and that is what I do. That is my passion. So yeah, I built my own software to be able to handle books. So, and my software is included in my bookkeeping price. So my bookkeeping starts at $500. And you get the software. You don't have to pay for the software too. So, and you don't have to pay someone else to, do it and then give it to me at tax time. And then I've got to charge you more to clean it up. So, because it's been done the right way the entire year. So, just wanted to point that out. It looks like they won't even be starting mailing people until the end of June. But I don't know how many people would end up watching this at this point in time. But yeah, they are coming out with some price increases. And then they're basically wrapping that in that, eventually they're going to get this new Intuit Intelligence, which basically just tells me that they're going to slap on, an LLM of some kind in the back end that is going to try to give you some kind of AI experience. But as someone that's worked with AI and worked with AI coding, it takes a lot to essentially teach AI some of the accounting basic, double entries, what should be the corresponding entry to some things like credit cards and loans, how to do principal and interest on loans, different things for like if you have Stripe and you get deposited, $12.34 in your bank account, but really the sale was $1,300 and the other were fees and processing fees. Like I had to teach AI and coding and in convention building my software to learn how to handle those entries. So thinking that, Intuit is just going to slap on some Intuit intelligence and all of a sudden it's going to make your books better or somehow do it for you. It's just not true. And, that's, I guess why I'm calling it out. Like I said, nothing against Intuit. They're allowed to make money. I just, they're very deceptive and that, anyone can do it. And then you just buy QuickBooks and you're done and you solved your accounting problem. And it's like by buying QuickBooks, you've actually just started a major accounting problem. So again, these are coming down the pipe. I feel really, really bad for the people that are using this advanced. That's going to $340 a month. I've come across a couple of people that have this. They typically also have like the live agents or whatever. And to be honest with you, the ones that have the advanced and the ones that have the live agents actually end up having the worst books. Many chart of account, like many, accounts on the balance sheet are negative. They're 3, 4, 5 years old. There's credit card things that are missing. The credit cards are negative. The profit and loss has a lot of things on there that shouldn't be on there. Maybe like full auto payments, like I just talked about. Principal and interest has to be separated out. Personal expenses on there. Like, let's be honest. Like, Intuit Intelligence is not going to know that you're putting personal stuff on there, and you're like, well, what does that matter? And I can justify it, and that should be a deduction. And it's like, I give it to my CPA. He handles that. For 30 years, I've had the same CPA. And it's like, to be honest with you, they're probably not. They got another 1,000 tax returns on the desk. Your McDonald's, 1 billion served. Like, they're not looking into your books in that way because, to be honest with you, IRS doesn't require that. The IRS doesn't, require us to audit you in any way. It's just if anything really sticks out, we are, supposed to ask questions. But a lot of times, the graybeard CPAs, they're not going to do that. They don't care about your books and records in that way, and they're not going to look at it that way. So you could be filing, essentially fraudulent returns for years on end and not even know it because you think that, QuickBooks is doing your books right when it's not. So I'll wrap that up for this one. Just wanted to show, prices are going up. They're coming soon, and they're justifying it by giving you some slap on some AI agent and call it intelligence and then, make you feel better about it. But to be honest with you, like if you went out there and bought a $20 Claude or Chippity membership, you'd still be paying less than paying them more money for it. Timothy LeGendre, CPA here in Florida. I built my own bookkeeping software. I'm coming after the Intuits of the world that promise things they can't deliver. I try not to promise anything that I can't deliver. I produce proper books and records for tax returns and for credit and credit lines and loans and stuff like that. So give me a call, send me an email, tim@timcpa.com, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.